Welcome to the DXbiz call for August 8th of August 2022. On the agenda today, we have a new member introduction. Thomas is here. We'll let you introduce yourself in a minute. Under DXbiz discussions, we have a few ongoing discussions with the COW protocol. A common narrative that is sort of facing many DAOs in the space right now, which is to stop and observe and strategize. We can talk about that too. Another topic to talk about is how to structure deals if we're talking about DX incubation or I mean, I made that term up. It's not very good, but yeah. So for NIMI and maybe for future projects as well. Under DX events, we have Infinite Hackathon in Bogota, status and co-organizers updates. And yeah, under DX Ventures, we're talking about some of the NIMI discussions that have been happening in the forum and in the chat. And yeah, we can get started. Thomas, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Well, my name is Thomas. I've been a developer, full stack developer for 4 years now. I worked with C#, Angular, and then I shifted to JavaScript, React Native, and Node. So I'm here to collaborate in anything you need, and very excited to be here.
Awesome. Welcome.
I met Augusto. He brought me here, and he speaks very well about DXDAO. So
I'm here. I'm here on the same room. Hola a todos.
He's not listening, but
because I'm Augusto, you're on the call.
But yeah, we are working here at Augusto's place now in Bariloche, Argentina.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome to DXDAO, and yeah, I guess you're talking to Augusto, can talk to Melanie as well, and yeah, figure out how to contribute to DXDAO. Yeah. Yeah. So. Sorry.
No, I lost the audio. Sorry, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Moving on to the next topic, we have some of the COW protocol discussions. Do we want to? Is that Zet? Do you want to bring us?
Give a little background, and then maybe Zed or Adam. So we've been talking with the COW team over the last while, and we got deeper with them in Paris. Then we've been having a follow-up call, and we've talking about a lot of the similar things that Swapper faces in general, but then with the integration of COW protocol and what that means for Swapper and how to prioritize it. And COW protocol is coming up with a program to incentivize projects to send more traffic to COW protocol, which makes a lot of sense, because the more traffic COW protocol gets, the better COW protocol becomes with its coincidence of wants, and in general, it's not too much different than what some other aggregators in the space have also done. And DXDAO echo routing theoretically is a semi-aggregator, which could eventually have this own facing this own problem. It's not problem, but this issue itself of incentivizing people to use your protocol or your tool. And yeah, part of the benefit of COW protocol is that Swapper is able to, because it's signing a message versus doing your own transaction, it's like these things are more easily measurable. Other aggregators have like referral programs. This is effectively an embedded referral program, because we're sending orders and signing messages from users of Swapper to COW protocol. And so we've been working with them on what that program could look like. And obviously Swapper has been the pools on Swapper have been a place to incentivize cow liquidity mining as well. So it ties in well there. Yeah, I guess overall there's like the integrations come with some technical questions as well. And Adam and team are working with their engineers to basically figure out how to better compare the prices that come from cow protocol, because the gas fees usually is embedded in the price. And so when you have a product that's based on comparing prices, you need to make sure that the way you're comparing the prices makes sense to the user, to have the right user experience. But I guess overall, as Swapper now being the main, or like the only like truly decentrally owned front end to cow protocol, which is a really great thing to put out there into the space and is a good marketing tool and things. It also becomes a business opportunity for DXDAO, because earning revenues through referral is something that's, you know, happens and is quite popular throughout the entire DeFi space. And if this would be the first revenue that DXDAO and Swapper could earn in this method, and if it works, there's potentially other, that could be another path towards revenue that Swapper can see in the future. And so we could start thinking about that in the background in when making decisions on what features and what path Swapper is going down, is when there's methods of referral revenue that becomes very attractive to the actual Swapper product. So it's something to keep in the back of mind. I think that's actually what, like Shapeshift, for example, they are doing that in this example as well, but they're thinking about that same logic for all of the things in DeFi. And so at least Swapper can think about that for trading and for bridging at first, and then eventually maybe Swapper could think about that ability into other DeFi areas as well. But overall it's a positive, because it's a new form of revenue for Swapper. And so that's one of the things that we need to focus on, I guess. Well, okay, revenue is not the main focus now, but if it leads to users and it also is a form of revenue, that is an overall positive for Swapper, I'd say. And so we should factor that into the planning and discussions around the products that DXDAO is building. But I don't know, Adam, if you or anyone else, if you want to add, is that anything else related to that? But that's the background on cow protocol.
Overall, I think, like, have you heard this expression in action movies where the protagonist says, "I've got nothing to lose"? Like, if we're not generating revenue, it's not like we don't have anything to lose. Of course, it's our reputation and our brand that we've been building for a while. But like, when we look at other protocols and the fact that they're charging fees and thousands of people are still using them and they're generating a great amount of revenue, I don't think we should shy away and like be worried about it that much. I think we should be more aggressive. Like, if Swapper is providing a better security, why not charge for it? Like, come trade on Swapper. We have an amazing UI. We have a great design. It's intuitive. You can do so much farming, and at the same time, we're saying you can do it all for free. But at the same time, we could be saying, and it costs just $1. And I don't think people will be like saying, "Oh, you crazy? Why are you charging me $1 helping me not get hacked?" I think they'll be asking, oh, is it just $1? You could be charging me $10. I'll still come here.
Yeah, so I think I think CowSwap is, or like Cow Protocol is looking for ways to incentivize like different front ends. Yeah, maybe we can be the design partner, because I guess we're the only one of the, probably the only live one. And then figure out like how can we also earn money from this. Definitely something that, to look into.
Yeah, I guess the update is that we are looking into it. It's not something we're planning to do. We are working with them.
Yeah. So I mean, these are great discussions overall. Is there anything else on this specific topic, Adam, Sky?
Why are we talking about CowSwap? We're talking about Cow Protocol mainly, and the reason is because it's a partnership, and it's a path towards revenue for Swapper in a time when DXD holders and rep holders are questioning whether DXDAO should even build something like Swapper any further, because each dollar going in should lead to more than $1 coming out. And so this is related to the next topic of, in this, something that maybe DXDAO doesn't do very often, and sometimes it takes a builder market or a bear market for projects to do this, but DXDAO has been building, a number of different things, and very rarely does it stop and think about what it's actually building and why it's building it, and is it the right focus and things like that. So that this next topic is this topic is coming up, whether we're talking about the DXD buyback, whether we're talking about Swapper the product, whether we're talking about Carrot, whether we're talking about what's DX Ventures investing or supporting projects and what it's going to lead to. It's all coming back to, well, what is the end goal of DXDAO and delivering value to DXD holders? And that's something that in general, we have in the back of our minds, but we don't actively talk about the end goal strategy long term as often as we probably should be. And there's a lot of projects, given tighter runways and the bear market and prices coming down, where projects are really having to like cut and focus and decide on what is the most efficient path forward. And I think DXDAO, there are community members that are also raising this topic, mainly because it ties in with everything DXDAO is doing. And this is, maybe this is better for the product strategy call, or maybe we need a more dedicated session towards this. But this analysis and where DXDAO should focus its efforts is probably better if it's more at the forefront, and why DXDAO is going down those paths, because it keeps coming up in every topic and discussion that DXDAO is involved in, and it's not very clear, and it's not that overall plan, and the end goal is not outlined really and approved by the DAO in any transparent place, at least in a while. It hasn't been. So that's,
I mean, not even that. We are not really talking about like what DXDAO's purpose is now, right? Everyone has its own views on what DXDAO is, or like is pushing forward to make DXDAO what it should be. But like even right now, I don't know. We are talking about like where DXDAO is gonna be in like even like 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to have this discussion. I think we're like, yeah, we're very aligned with many different things that Cow Protocol are doing. And yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe we can bring this up also to the strategy call. Do you want to move on to the next topic, or do you want to continue?
Sorry, Elon. So like, yeah, that was just one of the reasons. Well, that's not the reason we're talking about Cow. We're talking about Cow because that's ongoing. But this scenario of DXDAO should be talking about what Jero is describing here. Like we need to be talking about this more, and we need to have this plan logically set out and approved by the DAO itself and shareholders, rather than just continue to go down paths which you just happen to be going down. We can always change those paths, but in order to change and make adjustments, we really need to like stop for a second, step back and look at the space and look at the products and look at the places where DXDAO could invest or not invest, and then make a decision from there. And so just identifying that discussion needs to happen. There's probably some tough questions that rep holders and DXD holders some people have been asking, and these things should be probably out in the open, and then we need to talk through them and figure out the answers to that, and then have the DAO aligned. I mean, not everyone has to agree, but the DAO itself has to on average come up with what that path forward is, and where its focus and where its investments and where it should be investing its resources and its time, basically.
So
I don't know.
I guess maybe
figure out when we should move it more towards that direction.
Yeah. So Sky, I think this is right on the nose for the next topic, which is sort of common narrative or a common thing that people are doing these days, or DAOs in general, is to just like stop for a minute and figure out and strategize, basically. Kind of like, I think you've written here, like listen, think, strategize, plan, set goals, decide actions, and instead of like building, understanding what we want to do, what is the strategy, and then figuring out like the path to do it. I think it would be great. I mean, I can't make it to Bogota, but I think that's like a great moment to actually, I don't know, solidify some of these things, and then maybe just like what happened in Lisbon last year, each of the sort of squads will be able to bring these up and maybe present some ideas to the path forward. But I don't know if you want to expand more on this, but we've been talking.
I think it gets back to OKRs, and I don't know if OKR, like, people don't like the term OKRs, but like DXDAO has done this in the past. It has helped at least get people aligned on, we have these paths we're going down with these products, and here's OKRs on these products. Now maybe we should take those OKRs, which we had done a year ago, evaluate how far towards those goals we got, and then adjust the goals. So I think the whole point, and Venki and Elon, you guys are more experts on OKRs, but we made OKRs, we had goals. I think it's only valuable if we then evaluate where we are compared to those OKRs. How far do we get? How much do we spend? And where are we? And then reevaluate what the new goals are, and then figure out if there's new opportunities or some opportunities weren't as successful, and then adjust the paths of the path of the ship, of the DXDAO ship, based on some OKRs evaluation, and then new idea OKRs for like 1 year from now or 6 months from now, right? Like that's the whole point of OKRs, is we need to do then evaluation based on the prior OKRs, right?
I mean, not even that. Like, before we evaluate the OKRs of the products, we need to like think with DXDAO, like, we have bases. Are those bases something we should look into the future? Like, should we maintain those bases and like build them out? We tried Arbitrum. I would like, my personal view is it was a nice try, but I'm not really bullish on Arbitrum. Gnosis chain, we got lucky on timing. Swapper is successful on Gnosis chain now, and the question is like, does Gnosis chain even make sense for us? So before we even start talking about products, I would love to know where DXDAO itself, like the castle, like are our castles, like our bases, do they make sense? Should we put resources on them? Gov 2.0 is like forever delayed. DXD holders are not happy. I think we should start like putting like our focus on Gov 2.0. And with Gov 2.0, that's like, with Gov 2.0, the main question is like, where should it live, right? If we deliver Gov 2.0, where should it live? On our like current basis, does it make sense to look for new bases? With it, there might be like products coming up which makes more sense on those new bases.
Exactly.
And
so
then
so what you just described. So I'm sure governance 2.0 was in our goals from the last time we did this. We would evaluate that, like, we've made progress on DXGov, but we haven't gotten to governance 2.0. We evaluate that, and then now Ross is coming up with either new ideas for even revenue related to governance DXGov products, which is a new thing which we hadn't talked about in the past. We just kind of assumed it wouldn't have revenue, but it could have revenue, and so that comes into the new. Like, oh, let's invest over the next 6 months. What's our focus? DXGov and these products, because these products actually help DXDAO on its current basis and potentially future basis. Plus, there's actual revenue opportunities based on these products that are being built and we're investing in. But yeah, we need to just rehab those conversations. And I think all of those points you just said, plus what people are writing in the chat, like, would all come into those conversations for sure. But we need to the thing is, we need to stop and do this process instead of just build. Like, you literally have to, like, we have 1 week every 6 months where we actually stop, and then for that week we're just focused on this update, evaluation, and adjusting the path kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, Chris, do you want to say something? Sorry.
This can actually make us more productive, because it's not like we're some pacemaker inside of a human supporting them, and like, if we stop for a day and they're dead. Like, this is robust infrastructure that lives on its own, and so we don't need to be like on it as if we're working some shifts and we can't take a pause. Taking a pause every once in a while will help us, look from a different perspective and get a better grasp of the big picture, where we headed, and make better decisions. And we don't lose anything in the process. It will be beneficial. It will even be, in a way, like therapeutic almost, because the daily grind of doing the same thing, the rut of a developer, day in, day out, working on the same code, it's tiresome. And like, taking a day or two to just have meaningful conversations could be almost relaxing.
I think this is one of the things that we're learning, that DAOs, there's an example of like Filecoin and Juan Benet. I've heard this example a lot. Like, without the visionary outlook of coming from his individual mind, which, Filecoin Protocol Lab is not a DAO, right? It's like literally one person deciding, like Steve Jobs style. Like, I'm going to build what I personally think people are going to want. The DAO didn't decide this, right? And so we are learning that DAOs don't have the CEO with the visionary thing. There's lots of people that have their own visions, and on average, they tend to get diluted because they all average out to each other, I think. And so you don't have these crazy Elon Musk type ideas that are then invested in. And so if the DAO doesn't have the visionary and doesn't have the CEO to like decide the evaluation of the process and what to focus on, the DAO has to figure out how to solve this missing need itself. And the only way I can imagine the DAO doing this is to assign a time once a year, twice a year, to actually do this process as a DAO. And without that, I think, yeah, then you get, the path gets lost, basically.
Yeah, I want to say that I think you're right, and like these things, they need the vision of someone. And I've written this in the chat, and this is like in regards to Nimi, but I think DXDAO should become a lot more sort of like an incubation and spin out DAO, and this means that, like, roughly, and I will articulate this better in like maybe a separate forum post, but roughly this means that DXDAO focuses on its own governance, sort of like DX Voice and DXbiz and these type of things, and perhaps also like some development help and services and auditing and stuff like that. But it mostly should be DeFi protocols or any sort of like protocols for the ecosystem that come. They are born or they are incubated by DXDAO, and then they are spun out, not fully out, right? Because the members of whether this is Nimi or Carrot, they're still a part of DXDAO, but they are their own entities and they have autonomy and they can do whatever they think they think is good. And I think this is like a meaningful, like a scalable way forward. I don't want to turn DXDAO into a VC, but I think this is like a very, if anything, like this is more like Seed Club. Only I think we have like a very meaningful advantage is that we're actually decentralized, and this is one of the biggest value proposition we can propose. We can propose to new projects that come the ability to sort of like genuinely decentralize from day one, and tackling some of their biggest issues, which is whatever the token and what that will be, and the governance structure, and let them focus specifically on the product, whether this is Carrot or Swapper or anything else. And I'll even the extreme case of this is if you don't think that you should spin out that protocol and it should still be remaining a part of DXDAO, then maybe it's not worth pursuing in like at all. So yeah. Yeah, I guess Nathan, like it's not risk on teams we don't know and DeFi and devs. Like this is, you're extrapolating something I never said. I never said we're going to be funding random teams. I never said we're going to be funding anon devs. This is teams that we feel comfortable with, and we feel aligned. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to have any more comments on this. But
it is not a bad idea at all when we have, say, our tech stack like Swapper, Aqua, guilds ready, like well-shaped products ready to use without any contingencies like, oh, we still need to build this, it's going to take another half a year, we need to audit contracts, blah, blah, blah. When we have those ready, it would be much easier to do something like what you had describing, and it's actually really cool. We can do it, and it will help us sell our products, leverage them, and we could do a lot of good for the whole ecosystem by it. But just like with the esports, it's like a bit early for it.
So I'm not sure, like Ross and Nathan, you're saying like once we have our products, like I'm not sure that like at some point DXDAO is going to have its products that like it has millions of users and millions of dollars of revenue. Like that path is looks far away, and some DXD holders are asking, like, can you explain that path today? And right now we have not shared an explanation to how to get to that path. We're just kind of saying it, but we have no proof, and we're not showing it to DXD holders or rep holders. And so then, some people think that DXDAO would actually be just as good at or better at, like, finding outside teams that are building also interesting products and supporting those and bringing the specialties that DXDAO is good at and share it and bring those to add value to those projects. And yes, the projects that DX Ventures has supported so far, there's been no like returns, but like those are generally much longer term things. There's a bunch of good projects that DXDAO has supported, and DXDAO is continuing to look at new projects, but it's a competitive market, and there's lots of opportunities out there, and it's hard to decide which ones to support. But some of those, some of supporting projects early and ones that are good and supporting them and adding value to them and bringing them to your ecosystem could end up being one of the most best returns that DXDAO could create. But we're also guessing at that. But at least you could explain how those products, like Spicy Soup gave an example of a project in the NIMI forum discussion, and actually that thing would have returned really well, and it actually did return really well if you had supported it early. And so you can show paths for returns based on supporting projects early, and so we would need to show those same paths to returns for the products that DXDAO is building itself, I think. And then you compare the two, and then you maybe do more of one or less of another one and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, my sort of take on this is that if someone is going to, dedicate to their, 150% of their time to building a startup, they want to have some like meaningful upside them, like individually. And so that's where staying a part of DXDAO, like I think hurts sort of like the chances of the startup or whatever protocol to succeed. And I'll take NIMI as an example, but this is I think it's relevant for Swapper or for Carrot or for anything else. I think there should be a dedicated team that's 95% of their time is doing that, and then maybe the other 5% is doing DXDAO stuff. But I think each one of these projects could succeed on their own with the support of DXDAO. And I think DXDAO can create a huge network of support and assistance. And, I think many people here have like a lot of connections and, could help even with development work. And there's so much that can be done. The key here, I think, is to find the right structure. And I think this is something that we're, figuring out with NIMI right now. And I don't think, I want to say, like, I think you touched maybe on many times you want to make these things scalable. And how do we do this with like 100 different projects? And I don't think we should focus on that. We should focus on doing on just like one or two protocols, whatever, startups, NIMI, and then maybe Carrot, and then figure out how do we scale this even more. And, just one of these being successful means like DXDAO is going to have meaningful return for DXD holders. And yeah, I don't know. This is still like very rough in my mind. I wrote something in the NIMI thread, but I should probably write something like a bit more coherent. And yeah, would love to hear the feedback of other people here. I think there are many people in the chat who have seen DXDAO in many different places and or many different lights and have many different ideas. And it would be interesting to figure out, what do they think or how this should shape.
I think it's a really important discussion and like kind of key of core of what DXDAO is and how it, manages itself. But I also think we may be too early to tell what is the ideal incubation environment, to use that word. And so I think whatever we end up doing, we want to be something that we're, as I said before, like crossing the river while feeling the stones. I think part of it is just like, what do projects need to get launched and be on their own? And I think in 2017, it was almost impossible, I think, to do something without like having a legal entity, without going like very lawyerly. And so you see a lot of projects that have kind of that area. Within the last year or two, you've had a much more wider way of being able to just launch a token, do liquidity mining, and be able to try to build something there. I'm not sure what it will be going forward. It will probably adapt a little bit more, but just thinking that like long term, this is an area we want to be in. And I think that this, call it a Web3 business model, but this really has not emerged yet. And so the incubation model will probably take some time to emerge as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts about this? I don't know, John, Geronimo, Keenan, Zet, I don't know, other people who are in the chat.
I think Nimi is like a good place to start, right? Like we can set an example here and answer some of the questions.
I think DXDAO might need some more like aggressive money thinking. And one way to do that is I know this will be bad, but I'll say it, but maybe involve people that is good with money, maybe like VCs. I know we talked about this like 2 years ago, like should a VC invest in DXDAO, like own DXD? Like they could do it. They don't need to ask us, right? But like if we could hear like from someone that actively every day is like just working towards, they don't care about the Web3 world and all of that, but they're actually super aggressive on making money, right? So we could like balance out, because I think a lot of us care about Web3. We have passion about Web3, care about decentralization, but somewhere we need to start making revenue. We need to start to have like, some better prediction on how to make money and what will work, right? In the end, like, we need people to use what we are doing, and we might be wrong with our predictions. Even though we are right, technically, we might be wrong with the predictions, right? So I think maybe different perspectives, and not like, not be in the bubble.
Yeah, there are also projects like Asteroids, for example, Limo are looking for funding, And I think these are like very specific projects where DXDAO would be an ideal kind of partner if we find out a deal that makes sense for the DAO, because these are like extending on stuff we believe in. And like Asteroids, even they don't want to go to a VC, right? Like they would rather, find a better arrangement. And I think if these are products we believe in and we use a lot as well, I think like it would be interesting to look at stuff as well in that direction, And it could generate a lot of awareness for DXDAO if like .limo or Asteroids, which is like could be the search engine, and they're building different products as well, like I think that could be cool. But
yeah, I mean, it would be quite interesting to look at what have we funded, how are the projects going, and I'm sure it takes time to have to have a profitable investment, right? But I think there needs to be some reflection about how much money was spent and how are those projects doing. Because in my view, just like very personal view, we do like public goods funding, like the Asteroids, Limo. That's public good funding. I think I'm always for it, but it doesn't mean it's a good investment, right?
They are looking to monetize and become profitable. They're not exclusively public goods. They have both of them.
Yeah. Like otherwise, I don't think DXDAO would invest anyway, right? But if someone plans to try to make money, that doesn't mean they will make money. At some point, they're I consider Limo. It's very difficult to make money, but let's see what they come up with. But did we have some reflection on like what we actually funded? We had projects where we put money out, right? How are they doing?
Yeah, so it's linked in the chat here. Sky made like a recap just last week of all the DX Ventures investments. So you can check that out. I think like all of them are not yet liquid. So like we don't really know how we've fared. So I think the thesis here is that I guess accept work. I think the thesis here in general is that if we are a DAO of people who are in the ecosystem, and we will be funding things that we think is needed because we are in this ecosystem, and maybe that will give us access to things that actually work or things that have a need, basically. So yeah.
But my question still stands: is everyone so skeptical about DXDAO being successful in building products? Like, is DXDAO shifting into like a...
Who said that?
Define successful.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean?
Making money, of course.
Okay, so making money like revenue, right? So DXDAO not bleeding and obviously having teams and make money. I would say we are. I think we need to be more aggressive on like making money, or we need to have someone driving the aggressiveness of making money a little bit more. And it doesn't mean like we need to change everything we do, but just we're not keeping up with others, and crypto's moving fast. I don't think in this tempo we'll make money. No.
Yeah, I think, Geronimo, in general, I think there's sort of, when I think Elon Musk has this quote, when to build a startup, it means like breaking glass and starting to eat it, right? Or something like that, whatever. So it's like an irrational thing to do. And so it's a very difficult thing to do. And if you are doing that, you want to have like you want to maximize your returns in a way. And I think I want to take something like Carrot, right? Carrot has been in sort of like a limbo state. I mean, it's making progress, but it's not going at full speed. And I think it's a brilliant idea, Carrot. I think if there is a dedicated team and 100% of their time is focused on building Carrot and doing things with Carrot, then there's a higher chance of them reaching something meaningful with Carrot. And DXDAO could support that. DXDAO could support that with biz dev, with marketing, with DX Voice and stuff like that, and also helping them build their governance, helping them build their token, and a lot of like collateral things that are very, very important, but allow the team specifically to focus on shipping the best product. I think, I mean, there are obviously like many questions to this, but I think this way is like a better way for startups to succeed. And this doesn't mean that the Carrot team is completely separate from DXDAO. They're still a part of DXDAO. Maybe they attend some of the calls, but their focus is strictly on building Carrot. And same for Nimi, same for other sort of projects. And yeah, they are still a part of the DXDAO family. There's a token allocation, and yeah, I think this is like an interesting like way to explore it. And yeah, like Gnosis kind of proved that this is correct with CowSwap, and Cow Protocol, and Gnosis Safe. So yeah. Any other thoughts, ideas?
I think we could have another call just talking about this. I have a lot of thoughts in my head and ideas and yeah, just like maybe we don't have answers, but I think if we all like share our thoughts and ideas, maybe we will like sync on some stuff I would like to like see DXDAO, like we've been recruiting and doing a lot of like we have some good teams that we actually can build stuff, right? I think we could do anything. We just need the right vision. We just need the right red thread here and know why we're doing what we're doing and all of that. I think we're losing some like long-term sight or maybe yeah, just it's a little bit unknown on what's going on.
Yeah, I think like it'd be great to have more market feedback, right? Like I think we're building a bit like what we see as like the utopia of decentralization, you know, like we own our front end and stuff, which I personally think is really awesome, but it just seems that the market really couldn't care less about this, right? Like it's I think like more market feedback into what we're building rather than just, you know, building a developer, you know, idealistic utopia, which, you know, I love, but the market clearly doesn't, you know. And I think if we do want to look at more profitability, etc., we do have to find something that the market values, and that's, I guess, also what the DXD holders are raising, right? That like when you have like 40 million in the treasury, you don't have that market pressure to kind of go and find something that really works, you know. It's like kind of like a soft cushion behind us, which of course is great to build products in the long term, but kind of finding out how we can get more market feedback and yeah, building stuff people love and use would be great, you know. But unfortunately, I also don't have the solution to how to do that right now.
And maybe just the bear market just affecting all of us and affecting the DXD holders. We knew, I mean, John has been talking about the bear market for a while, right? So, and we said when we come into a bear market, we'll be building and we'll have a runway and we'll like. And now we're here, and some people are actually panicking, and like, you can see that like the reactions is way different, right? I think we shouldn't panic, right? We knew these things will take time. We knew some things will be a certain way. DXDAO has a runway because we plan to have a runway. I think, yeah, we shouldn't pause or cancel things just because people are panicking, but we should definitely try to complete the roadmap of what DXDAO is doing, and if there's a plan to make revenue, how to do it, and what to focus on. And I think we could focus on governance 2.0 and like other projects at the same time. I don't think we need to pause another project. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I want to say I don't think people are panicking. I think this is actually good because we get a chance to like stop for a second and yeah, figure out like strategy stuff, and this is good. Yeah, I think like we'll be able to get out of the bear market like way stronger with like, you know, a suite of products or whatever. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else if anyone else has any other thoughts or. Yeah. Do we want to briefly talk about? Yeah. Will do, Ross. We can. Do you want to briefly talk about like Bogota and some of the updates, the hackathon? Keenan, are you championing this?
Hey, sorry, I was just focusing on some writing. Can you repeat the question?
About Infinite Hackathon in Bogota. Do you have any updates?
Yeah, I think the only update right now, actually something I'm working on today, or right now, is working on some updated copy and kind of going to get the wireframe to design and the dev side to get rolling on that. I don't think there's much beyond what we shared last week. We had a good productive call last Wednesday that kind of lined everyone up. I don't know if Augusto is here, But I think there was an invoice shared for the hotel, a bit of a discussion on the Wi-Fi costs that seemed a little bit unnecessary. But beyond that, I don't think anything major since last Wednesday.
I'm also wondering, do you know how many people signed up for it?
I don't have access to that, I don't believe.
Okay.
And when is the deadline thing for?
Yeah, so the first thing we're doing is prioritizing co-orgs. We updated our pitch deck and are kind of doing a little bit of outreach. If we can get a sufficient group of co-orgs by, I think, must be August 24th, maybe? That rings a bell. I'd have to check on that. But if we have a sufficient group of co-orgs, ignoring participants and those that have signed up, by that next date, we'll move forward with that payment, and then from there, leverage our co-orgs and their communities to kind of get a base of participants. And then whatever that next cutoff day, I think off the top of my head, that's September, that must be September 14th or something. That would be kind of the cutoff, like mid to late September on whether or not we make that final deposit.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think there is any other topics to discuss. But yeah, I guess like another topic is specifically NIMI, but I guess we can continue some of the discussions that are happening in the forums. And yeah, we're a bit over time. Yeah, I don't know, any last comments?
Really?
Sorry?
No, not really.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I guess have a great rest of the week. And yeah, see you around.
Bye.